Have you ever wondered where the strength of those who don't give up comes from? We are not talking about muscles, but about the invisible force that holds a heart in pieces, that lifts someone from the ground after a fall in life. This strength is not born in comfort. It is born in pain, in loss, in doubt. And today, you will understand why difficulties are not against you, they are shaping you. As Seneca said, no wind blows in favor of those who don't know where they are going. This video is an invitation, a call for you to see your pain with different eyes. Because what seems like a burden today, tomorrow could be what saves someone. And the strong, the truly strong, are not born with a spoonful of gold. They are born on nights when no one sees them, on tears that no one dries, on new beginnings that no one applauds. This is how the strong are born, and maybe you're closer to that than you think. Maybe you were taught that being strong means not crying, which is never making mistakes, never weakening, never falling. But this is a lie. True strength is in following through even in fear, to start over even when broken, to continue loving even after being hurt. That's courage. This is emotional maturity. This is Stoic wisdom. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you want, but wish for them to happen as they happen, and your life will flow well." This is the essence of true strength, not controlling everything, but accepting what comes with dignity. Being strong means stopping fighting reality and starting to transform yourself. In this video, you will discover that strong people are not special. They are conscious. They don't have an easy life, they have a firm mind. They don't avoid pain, they learn from it. And they don't run from chaos, they learn to stay calm even when everything around them is falling apart. Each of the following topics is a step in building your inner strength. It's not about becoming someone perfect, but about becoming someone whole. Someone who feels, suffers, but chooses to react with purpose, with honor, with presence. Life will test you. It will frustrate you. It will disappoint you. But it will also invite you to grow, to mature, to awaken. And what you do with those invitations that reveals your true strength. Not the events, but your response to them. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the largest empire in the world, wrote every day to remember that his strength was not in the army, but in self-control, in focus, in serenity. And if he could practice this in the midst of war, you can practice this in the midst of its chaos. So, if you are going through a difficult phase, know that it could be your birth, your rebirth, the stoning of your soul. Because that's how the strong are born, when everything seems lost, and yet something inside them chooses to continue. And now, the question that will guide every second of this video: are you ready? Pain, when well understood, is not the enemy. She teaches what success could never show. It reveals hidden strengths, wisdom hidden in silence. Seneca said adversity reveals genius, prosperity hides it. And he was right. Difficult times do not come to punish us. They come to wake us up. How many times only after a shock do we wake up to what really matters? Pain forces us to look inside, face the mess, and reorganize everything. It does not soften, but directs us. Running away from suffering is natural, but useless. He always catches up with us, sooner or later. What makes a difference is how we choose to respond. Will we be victims or students? Stoicism teaches that we do not control what happens to us, but we always control our response. And that's where strength comes from. Do you remember a situation that seemed like the end, but then became the beginning of something better? This is pain doing its job. Tough, but fair. Raw, but true. Pain is a training ground for the strong. Whoever accepts, grows. Whoever resists, stagnates. If you are suffering right now, don't be ashamed. Don't think you are weak. It could be that you are just being prepared for something bigger. It is in the heat of iron that the sword is forged. And it is in silent tears that the soul learns to become unshakable. So, the next time pain hits, remember it is not punishment, it is construction. The strong don't run away from pain, they walk through it to the other side. And when they leave, they are no longer the same. They are more aware, more mature, more alive. Pain is the first mentor of all greats. And if you listen to it with humility, it will not destroy you. She will make you born again, stronger, more whole, ready to be what you were born to be. Epictetus taught there are things that depend on us, and others that don't. Life becomes lighter when we learn this difference. Many carry the weight of things they can never change. This is not strength, it is unnecessary suffering. Accepting is not surrendering. It's choosing where to spend your energy. It's saying, I can't change this, but I can change what I do with it. It seems simple, but it requires courage. The truly strong don't try to control everything. He focuses on what is within his reach. How many times have you wasted nights trying to fix someone? Trying to change the past? Trying to predict the future? This is not control, it is illusion. Strength is born when we stop fighting the tide and start swimming with purpose, even if the current exists. It's liberating to know that not everything is your responsibility. The rain falls, time passes, people change. Your role is to be firm as a rock, not a leaf in the wind. This is Stoicism, knowing what is yours and what belongs to the universe. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not over events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He commanded empires, but he knew that the largest territory to be governed was himself. You cannot avoid all losses, not all judgments, not all tragedies, but you can choose how you will behave towards them. And this choice defines who you are, someone reactive or someone strong. Accepting the uncontrollable is not giving up. It is wisdom, and wisdom is what turns pain into growth, fear into prudence, giving up on starting over. Are you ready for this choice? True strength is not that of those who never fall, but that of those who always get up. It's not about winning every battle, but about not giving up fighting. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. The strong is the one who continues, even when injured. There are days when getting out of bed is already a victory. Keep smiling even with a heavy heart. Strength lies in these small acts of silent courage. Those who persevere, even without applause, are becoming unshakable inside. Many hope to have the motivation to act, but the Stoic understands that action comes before feeling. Discipline is what builds strength, not the emotion of the moment. The warrior does not wait to be ready, he acts and shapes himself in the process. How many times have you almost given up and, when you didn't give up, discovered something new about yourself? This is the essence of perseverance. It is what turns each fall into a step. Every "I can't take it anymore" and "I went where no one expected." The strong are not movie heroes. They are ordinary people who decided to continue when everything told them to stop. Who cry, feel scared, but continue. This is the courage that matters, the one that walks with pain, not against it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The art of living is more like fighting than dancing." In other words, living well is not lightness all the time. It is resistance. It's falling, taking a deep breath, and getting up with dignity. This is what forges a strong soul. If you are going through something difficult, don't focus on winning now. Focus on continuing and taking the next step, even small, because each step taken with courage is proof that strength is already being born within. We live in a noisy world. Expectations, opinions, demands. But strength is not born in noise, it is born in silence. Seneca said, "Tranquility is the most important quality of the soul." And the strong are those who learn to listen to themselves before the world. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of clarity. When we silence the outside noise, we begin to understand what we really think, what we feel, what we want. This is where inner strength begins to blossom. The Stoics practice silence as a form of self-control. Don't react impulsively. Don't respond with anger. Don't live hostage to other people's emotions. This control begins with silence. And it is there that we find our true axis. Have you ever tried stopping for a moment, without distractions, and just breathing? The world doesn't stop, but you can. And in that moment of pause, you rediscover your center. The strong person is not the one who screams the loudest. He is the one who can hear his own heart without getting lost. In difficult times, silence is a refuge and a tool. Instead of looking outside for answers, the strong look within. And even if they don't find everything, they find peace. Enough peace to carry on. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary as a way of finding this silence. An emperor who commanded wars and empires, but knew that the greatest battle was to keep his soul serene. This is Stoic wisdom. You can learn to listen to yourself, not to rush, not to drown in the noise, because the strength that remains does not come from the shouting of the world, but from the silence you cultivate when no one is looking. Emotions are not the enemy, but without control, they drag us along. The strong are not those who do not feel, but those who know how to feel without being dominated. Epictetus taught it's impossible to be happy if you don't know how to control yourself. Anger, fear, sadness, they are all human. But the strong learn to use emotions as a compass, not as a motor. They can point out paths, but they should not direct our lives. Dominating is not repressing. It is observing, understanding, and choosing to act wisely. How many times has an outburst of anger destroyed a relationship? Or did an anxiety attack paralyze a dream? Emotional strength lies in knowing how to pause, breathe, reflect. Impulse destroys. Consciousness builds. The Stoic does not erase what he feels, he illuminates it with reason. He understands that emotions come and go like waves, but he is the captain of the ship. And even in the midst of the storm, he can keep the helm steady. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is more miserable than he who is governed by his passions." This is a warning: either you govern your emotions, or you will be governed by them. And the weak are those who live like leaves in the wind, carried away by every emotional breath. Emotional strength is built with practice. Every moment you choose to breathe instead of scream, wait instead of rush, you are training the soul. You are becoming stronger, calmer, freer. Remember, the strong feel, but they don't get lost in what they feel. They welcome, process, and follow. And that's why they are strong. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't live as if you were 1,000 years old. Death is waiting for you. The present is all we have." The strong know this. They don't live in the what if of the past or the when of the future. They live in the now, and that is power. The weak mind holds on to regret or anxiety. A strong mind anchors itself in the present moment. Because it is here, now, that choices are made. That life happens. What miracles arise, even on ordinary days. Have you ever noticed how we spend most of our lives waiting? Waiting for the right moment, the right person, the right courage. But the strong don't wait, they act. Because they know that time doesn't come back, and that every day wasted is a piece of the soul that disappears. Stoicism teaches us to value the moment, to contemplate what is before us. Someone's smile, the sunset, the silence of the morning. It is in the present that strength flourishes, because it is here that true decisions are made. Seneca wrote, "Life is long enough if you know how to make the most of it." And this sentence changes everything, because maybe life doesn't need to be longer, just more vivid, more felt, more real. The strong person is not the one who accumulates years, but the one who makes the most of every second with presence. He is not distracted by what he has lost, nor is he deluded by what has not yet come. He lives with attention, with awareness, with truth. Do you want to be strong? Start by looking at the now, because it is in the now that you transform, and it is now that your new story begins. The greatest freedom is to own yourself. Epictetus said no one is free if they are not masters of themselves. The strong are not those who control others, but those who control themselves. They do not live hostage to other people's opinions, nor slaves to approval. Internal autonomy is built when we stop looking outside for what can only be found inside. It is the ability to act based on one's own values, not the expectations of others. It's living with integrity, even when no one is watching. How many times have you felt lost trying to please everyone, trying to be who they expected you to be? The soul weakens when it betrays itself, but it flourishes when it aligns with inner truth. That's strength. This is freedom. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this when he wrote, "You must build a citadel within yourself, a place of refuge that no pain can invade." And that citadel is your autonomy. It's the place where nothing external shakes you. The strong build this fortress in silence. They reject falsehood, the need for approval, forced roles. They prefer the peace of being who they are to the war of trying to please everyone. And that choice frees you. You can lose money, status, even relationships. But if you keep your soul whole, you will still be whole. Because the only thing no one can take away from you is who you choose to be. Strong are those who decide to live by conviction, not by convenience. And this decision changes everything. Seneca said, "If a man does not know which port he is going to, no wind will be favorable to him." Purpose is the anchor of the soul. It is what sustains the strong in storms, what gives meaning to difficult days. Without purpose, life is just survival. Having a why is what turns sacrifice into mission. It's what makes someone wake up, even when tired. Smile, even in pain. Fight, even without guarantees. The strong do not live by impulse, they live by purpose. Have you ever stopped to ask what yours is? What pain do you want to heal in the world? What brand do you want to leave? Strength begins when life stops being just about you, when your suffering begins to have greater meaning. Marcus Aurelius did not just see himself as emperor. He saw himself as a servant of humanity, and that's what made him wise. When we find our role in the world, our pain makes sense. Our tiredness finds fuel. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand. It could be loving better, take care of someone, create with truth, teach, console, inspire. The important thing is that it makes your heart beat faster. And may He keep you going, even on the dark days. Without purpose, any difficulty seems too great. With purpose, even the impossible becomes a path. Because whoever knows where they want to get to can handle anything. Strong are those who live with direction, and direction is built with purpose. Humility is the basis of true strength. Those who are truly strong don't need to show off. No need to humiliate. No need to shout. Epictetus said it is impossible to learn what you think you already know. Humility opens up space to grow. The strong recognize their limitations. They know they are not better than anyone else. They just chose not to give up. They know that everyone carries invisible battles, and that is why they walk with compassion. How many times has arrogance prevented learning? Did you close doors? Did it drive people away? Strength is not in being infallible, but in knowing how to ask for help. In knowing how to say, "I don't know, I made a mistake." Marcus Aurelius, even though he was emperor, wrote every day to remember that he was just a man. May the glory pass. May vanity blind. And the essential thing is to keep your heart clean, humble, and awake. Humility is what makes humans strong. They don't think they're better, but they don't think they're worse either. They just follow, with their feet on the ground and their eyes high, knowing that they are constantly under construction. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, nor win arguments, nor convince the world. Your strength is in continuing to be you, learning, growing, falling, and rising with humility. Humility keeps you strong and accessible, and it changes the world around you. Talking about death can seem dark, but for the Stoics, she was one of the greatest teachers. Seneca said life is longer when you face death wisely. And Marcus Aurelius remembered you may leave life now. Therefore let your actions be worthy. Awareness of death makes us more alive. It makes us realize what really matters. Frees us from haste, comparison, greed. Because in the end, none of this goes with us. Only what we build inside. When we remember that life is brief, fights lose strength. Hugs take on meaning. Ordinary days become miracles, and suffering gains perspective. Knowing that everything is temporary invites us to live with more intensity and less illusion. The strong contemplate death not with fear, but with respect. They don't live running away from the end. They live ready for him. And that's why they live better. Because those who live as if they had all the time in the world lose what is most valuable. Have you ever stopped to imagine if today was your last day? What would change? What would you do differently? Maybe the strength you're looking for is there in the reminder that time is finite and therefore precious. Strong are those who live with an urgency of meaning, not speed, that make every moment count. They don't leave the essentials until later, because you know after maybe it won't exist. And so, with eyes open to the fragility of life, the strongest are born. Now you know the strong are not born in comfort. They are born in silence, in pain, in falling, and in the choice to continue. They are not made of steel, but of courage. Courage to accept, to feel, to start over. Courage to live with purpose and die with truth. If this message touched your heart, write the word in the comments Renaissance. That way you'll know that you've come this far and that you're ready to truly live. And of course, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. Because the journey of the strong may be lonely, but it will never be in vain.